want to clear something up right now, because see, the devil play mind games, and it's the devil that have you thinking, man, I want to kind of get it right, but I'm gonna wait because I did just smoke a blunt, or I would go to church, but I did just club like yesterday. All weekend I've been turning up, and I ain't about to be no hypocrite like all them other people I see in church acting holier than thou. I'm gonna wait until I get it together. I'm gonna wait till I fix myself up, and then I'm gonna go to God the right way. The devil is a liar. The devil is trying to delay your progress. The devil is trying to delay your salvation so that he can catch you slipping while you out here in your mess, and then you end up in hell because you ain't get it right. The devil is a liar, and I'm clearing it up right now for everybody who was foggy-eyed and the devil got blinders over your eyes. I'm clearing it up right now because he is a liar. Don't wait. Seek God right now. When you go to the emergency room, do you go to the emergency room when you feeling fantastic? No. You go to the emergency room when something is wrong. You go to the emergency room when you feeling sick in your body. When something is going on and you know you can't figure it out, so you gonna go where you know they can figure it out and heal you quick. Or if something wrong with your baby. If something is wrong with your child and you see it ain't right and you know you don't have the power to fix it or fix them up, you taking them to the emergency room. You not gonna wait and make a doctor's appointment. And when it's an emergency, you go into the emergency room. And I'm coming to tell you right now that God is the emergency room. The devil wants you to wait and think you can just wait and fix yourself up. You don't have it in you to do it yourself. I didn't have it in me to do it myself. God is the emergency room. He wants you to come right now. Come as you are, so that when he fixes you up and cleans you up, you know that it was him, because you went to him a mess. And he brought you out brand new. He brought you out healed and delivered and made whole. That's what he did for me. Don't allow the devil to make you wait, because you're going to get caught slipping and you're going to die in your sin, and then shoulda, coulda, woulda. Tomorrow is not promised. Don't allow the enemy to make you wait. In Jesus' name, you will not wait. You will not wait. You will see God. And as a matter of fact, the night I got saved, I was in my room. I had been clubbing all night. I came home, staggered in the house, and got in the middle of my bed, curled up like a baby, and just cried. I was tired, and I just cried, and I was talking, I'm tired. I kept saying, I'm tired, God. If you hear me, because I wasn't no praying person. I heard about God, and my grandma was in the church and yada, yada, yada. But I wasn't no praying girl. But I was so tired and exhausted and fed up with the lifestyle I was living. I just started crying, God, please, I need your help. I need a way out. If you hear me, everybody's saying about God, this and that. If you hear me, I need a lifeline. I'm losing my mind. I'm going to lose my life. I might take my own life. I'm depressed. I was going on and on and on and crying and talking, probably said a couple cuss words, crying and going on and on until I went to sleep. I cried and talked myself to sleep. The next morning I got up and I was working at the bar, and I used to work at the black strip clubs, and then I had moved on to a predominantly Caucasian strip club. And in that bar, you had to make a schedule. And if you missed your scheduled day, there was a fine, like almost $500 if you missed your scheduled day. So I ain't really missed no days. And the fine was so high because you can make that back in an hour. And so that next day, it was Saturday night that I came in the house, and I was crying out, and I was just so miserable and tired and crying and asking God, help me, send me a lifeline, whatever it is. I'm tired of living like this. I'm exhausted. And I know when I sober up, my reality gonna hit again. And I said, I don't even remember all of what I said, but I know I was just pouring out because I was drunk, I was tired, I was miserable, and I was sick of the cycle. So that Saturday night, it was like 4 a.m. when I got in the house, and I got up that Sunday morning. I was set to work Sunday, and when I woke up, I felt so like a breath of fresh air is all I kept doing, like a heaviness was lifted off of me. And I was set to go to work that day, but I was scared to go to work because I didn't want to lose this feeling that I had, this peace that I had. I couldn't explain it. I never felt like this before. And I was like, and something in me connected the night before that I cried out and said, God, if you hear me, I know I ain't never praying. I know I'm drunk, yada, yada, yada. Something in me connected that night, all that I was doing, to that feeling that I had that next morning. And I'm like, oh my God, it gotta be, God he might have been listening. And I was scared to go to work because I didn't want to affect that feeling that I had that I never felt before. And something in me wanted to hold on to it. And I knew that if I went to work, I was going to drink. And I knew that once I got drunk, the turn up was going to start again. And I was going to lose whatever this was that I had tapped into. So I made it up in my mind that I wasn't going to go to work. And that day, I got up that morning. And I felt so good, so I got in the shower because I slept in my clothes. I cried myself to sleep. I got up, I got in the shower, got right back in bed, and I was on my phone, and I was scrolling, looking online, trying to see what jobs were hiring. And I was looking at restaurants because I figured like anybody will hire me at the restaurant. And I had been looking before, and either I would work a job for a week or so and be like, this money ain't nothing, I'm going back to the pole I go. Or I would try to go and do interviews, and they wouldn't hire me. So this time, I'm scrolling, I look, I'm like, I'm gonna start from the bottom, whatever. I went and I seen a job, Benihana. I'm like, I heard of this place, Benihana. So I went and I clicked on it, and it said hiring for waitresses, dishwashers, hostess, whatever, So I was like, oh, okay, cool. And it said open interviews starting Monday. And this was Sunday. And so I was like, all right, cool. So I'm gonna go. It's right down the street from my house. So I went, or where I was staying, because I was staying with one of my customers at the time. I had, my own room, whatever, but I was staying in mess, living in mess. So I got ready. That whole day, I didn't answer my phone. My girls was calling, the girls I work with, girl, we got to get this money, all this stuff. I ain't answered my phone. I didn't reply to text messages, customers texted, all that. And I'm just keeping it real with y'all so y'all can understand the way God operates. So I didn't answer my phone all day because I felt like whatever I did, whatever I tapped into that was from my past, because I was already considering it my past. Whatever that I allowed myself to entertain, I felt like it would take me out of what I was feeling. And it felt so good. It felt so peaceful. I wanted to start crying all over again because it just felt like a release. So all that whole day I was preparing. I got my stuff ready, what I was going to wear. I got a manila folder, an empty folder, and put all copy paper in it. Plain copy paper. Put it in there. That next morning I woke up and said interview starting at 10. I was there at 9:45. The guy I was staying with, I had him take me up there. So I went up there. I walked in trying to look professional and not like a stripper. Walked in there. I said, hey, the hostess was standing there. I said, hey, is the manager available? Went and got the manager. She came out looking like she didn't want to be bothered. And I'm like, okay. So she came out. And I was like, hi, can I talk with you for a minute? I know you guys are doing interviews or whatever. And she was looking all confused, looking at me. And so I motioned towards the table, like, can we sit down? Can I talk to you? And so she sat down. And I said, hey, I know you guys are hiring. And I would like to work. I'll start as a waitress. Because for me, I thought the waitress was like the bottom of the totem pole. I felt like the hostess was kind of higher up and then on from there. And so I was like, I'll start as a waitress, I'm looking for a job, this, that, and just start rambling, whatever. And she kept looking at this folder. I took it so that I would look professional, but it wasn't nothing in it. No resume, no nothing. I took it so that I would look professional. And she kept looking at this folder like I was going to pull something out, and I ain't pulling not a one thing out. And so after I finished talking and telling her why I was there, and she said, okay, well, what experience do you have? And I said, well, I don't really have experience. I've done like modeling and things like that, but I don't really have experience like this, but I learn fast and whatever. And so, and I'm just like, I know she's gonna hire me, like it's a waitress job, like, and she said, well, Benihana is a high-end steakhouse, and you have to have at least 2 years experience, to be a part of this company. But I thank you for coming in. And I stopped her right there. I put my hand on the table. I said, ma'am, listen, I understand everything you just said, and I don't really have any work experience, but I learn fast, and I'll pick up, it don't take me long. I'll start wherever you need. I'll even start as a dishwasher. I said, but don't let me walk out of here. I need somebody to give me a chance. I need you to give me a chance. I can work hard. I can be here. You're not far from my house. Please do not let me walk out of here without giving me a chance. And she looked at me, and she looked at my folder again, and she said, you know what? Can you get all black? Can you get a black top and black pants? I said, yes, I can leave and buy it now. She said, I'll give you a chance. Be here at 9 a.m. And I walked out of there, and I knew that it was God. You would have thought that I had just got a job with the president at the White House, but it wasn't about the job. It was a huge pay cut because this is a restaurant. It was a huge pay cut, but what I knew when I walked out of that restaurant was that God had heard my cry. God knew that I needed a lifeline. God knew that I needed something to hold on to, or else I was going to lose my mind. God knew that I needed something, a way out of the life that I was living, and this was my way out. This is what God did for me and proved to me that he heard my cry. And I then realized that night that I was rambling and crying and yelling and being so angry because I had been homeless before, because I was on drugs and doing all of this stuff, and I realized that moment that I was praying. There is no certain way to pray. It's only conversation with God, a humble heart and conversation with God. I knew at that very moment, I said, thank you so much. And I began to cry, and she probably thought that something was a little off, or she probably seen my heart and knew that I needed a chance, because I cried and I asked her if I could give her a hug, and I walked out of there feeling like $1 million with my empty folder, feeling like $1 million, because I knew right then, like, God, that's all it takes was for me to cry out to you and tell you what I needed. And you heard me, and immediately he began to cause a shift in my life. The Bible says in 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will forgive their sins and I will heal their land. And let me tell you, it's so true, because there is a natural humility that comes from true prayer. And that night, and it shows, true prayer shows that you recognize that whatever it is you praying about, the answer is not in you, that you cannot fix it, but you know God can. It shows that you recognize that you cannot fix whatever it is, the sickness or whatever it is that you have going on, but God can. So that's humility right there, going to God and saying, I can't do it. And I know that everybody say you this big guy, so I need you to do it for me. That's humility. That's step one. Humble yourself and pray. And then seek God's face. Seek to know God. Seek to see if there is something that he can do for you to make himself known, make himself personal to you. Seek him. Seek to be closer to him. Seek to live a better life. That's what I did when, instead of going into my scheduled day of work, I began to seek a new job, to seek a real job, something that I can do, that I can hold my head up high. I didn't care if it was a restaurant. I didn't care what it was, but I was seeking to please God and to do a better life already, immediately, less than 24 hours after I had cried out. So I humbled myself. I prayed. I seeked God's face. Seeked God's face, and I turned from my wicked ways. I immediately turned from communicating with the girls I was working with, from communicating with my customers, because they would hit my line in the morning. I would be like, yeah, I'll be there. What time you coming? Lining it up. I immediately turned from that. I turned my phone off. I turned from my wicked ways. Then my agent called me, who was the agent over me at that bar. I didn't answer his call. I turned from my wicked ways. So I humbled myself and I prayed and I seek God's face and I turned from my wicked ways, and God forgave my sin immediately. God is quick to forgive. Not only did he forgive my sin, but he healed my land. That brokenness that I felt, he healed it in less than 24 hours. I'm telling you the truth. He healed me. cleaned me up immediately. He directed me to that job that was hiring, and I missed the part. When I sat down at first, the lady looked at me kind of confused, and if I'm not mistaken, she said, "We're not hiring, but if we were, it would have to be somebody with 2 years experience." So not only was she not even hiring, but I didn't even have experience if she was hiring. So you can't tell me that God didn't set that up and she was about to dismiss me and walk me out of there. But God had me speak up. And because I cried out to God, because I humbled myself and I prayed and I seeked his face, and I immediately was willing to turn from my wicked ways, God healed my land, and he caused that woman's heart to soften toward me, and she hired me on the spot. I didn't fill out an application or new hire paperwork until I start working. God is awesome. Don't allow the enemy to make you wait, because the more you wait, the devil can allow you to get yourself in a situation that you can't get out of, and you will die in sin, and you will end up in hell. Hell is real and heaven is real. God is real. Can't nobody tell me that my God is not real, because from that moment forward, God began to do things in my life. He began to shift my atmosphere, and I continued to pray. And it wasn't smooth sailing after that, because the enemy is a sore loser, and he don't give up without a fight. So he kept coming. It was a tug of war with my spirit. But one thing I knew, that God would hear my cry and he would hear my prayer. So I continued to cry out to God, because I knew that he could hear me. He proved to me that he heard me. So don't allow the enemy to make you wait and make you feel like you got to clean yourself up. And wait, because I just smoked a blunt. I was high as a kite when I prayed out, when I cried out to God. Don't let the devil trick you. You can't do it yourself. If we could fix ourselves up, there wouldn't be an emergency room. And we do have the power of healing, but that's a whole nother video. What I'm saying to you is, if you could clean it up yourself, if you could change your own life, God wouldn't be necessary. But God is so necessary. Prayer is so necessary. Please understand. God is waiting on you. He knows what you need. He's waiting on you to come to him now. He will forgive your sins and heal your land immediately. I see people now, they couldn't even fathom the thought of me being a stripper and me being strung out on drugs and everything else I was into. They can't see it, because guess what? Not only did God forgive my sins and heal my land, but all things were passed away and all things have been made new. I don't look like what I've come through. God is waiting to do the same thing for you. Humble yourself and pray and seek God's face. And if you already humbled and you already saved, but you got somebody else with a sickness, you humble yourself and you pray on their behalf. You go to the emergency room for them. Go to God for them and watch him show up and show out. I never would have imagined that I turned down to turn up. Every weekend I was turning up. Every day I was chasing money. And now I'm chasing God, and look what he's doing. The Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all its righteousness, and all the other things will be added unto you. I have been seeking God, seeking his face, seeking to be a better woman for him, allowing him to use me. I don't do these videos so that y'all can know me and for me to be Facebook famous. I do this to make God more famous, because he is being put on a back burner. So I'm doing this so that you guys can know God and see what God is capable of. That's why I put y'all all in my business. That's why I put my business all on Facebook, because you need to know that God is a healer. You need to know that God is a deliverer. You need to know that nothing is too hard for him. A lot of people know me. A lot of y'all know me and know how I used to be. God did it, and he waiting to do it for you and anybody connected to you. Pray. Seek his face. Let him know what you're dealing with, and let him know that you surrender your will to him. Let him know that you realize that you can't do it, but you know that he can, and watch what happens. Don't let the enemy trick you. You are not a hypocrite if you go into church on Sunday after you done turned up on Saturday. You are a humble heart looking for a way out, and God is going to give it to you. Pray. I love you guys. Keep me in your prayers, and I'm praying for you guys as a whole. I thank God for you, and I thank God for the messages that he sends through me, because I see the changes. I read the messages, I read the comments, and I know that God is doing the thing. God is reaching some of you who would never even think to go in a church home. Not everybody is going to go into a church house. So I thank God for the unique form of ministry that he's given me, and he can do the same thing for you, because somebody is waiting to hear your testimony. That mess you in, God is going to turn it around into a message that's going to reach souls. You better hear me, man. Humble yourself and pray. I love you guys. Bye-bye.